I'm 19, just started my second year of college, and I honestly thought life was finally smoothing out after a rough high school experience. I had a good group of friends, decent grades, and a long-distance boyfriend who, while kind of flaky, at least remembered the important stuff, like my birthday, which is more than I can say for my dad. Now, my dad has always been a little absent-minded. He's one of those people who makes up for forgetting birthdays by sending over-the-top gifts a week later. But this year, nothing. Not a call, not a text, not even a, "Hey, sorry, work's crazy," which is his go-to excuse for everything. It bugged me, more than I wanted to admit. Growing up, my dad was my hero. He worked a lot, but he always made time for me. Movie nights, random ice cream trips, bedtime stories when I was younger. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like he wanted to be there. That changed when I was around 14. He got a promotion and started spending more and more time on the road. My mom said it was good for his career, and I tried to believe her, even when he missed my entire junior year of school, holidays and all. Anyway, back to the birthday. My mom threw me a small dinner with a couple of close friends, and we had a nice time. But when I blew out the candles, I realized what I wished for, that my dad would remember I existed. The next morning, I finally cracked and texted, "Hey, I turned 19 yesterday. Hope you're." No response. Not even the dots that show he was typing. I figured maybe he was busy, maybe he lost his phone, maybe something had happened. But then I did something impulsive. I opened my fake Instagram account, the one I use to follow people I don't want knowing I'm watching. I mainly made it to keep an eye on my boyfriend's ex when things were rocky, but lately I'd been using it for something else. See, my dad has another account. Not his work one, not his personal one either. This one doesn't even have his real name. It's under Dave Thomas with some dumb beach profile pic. But it's him. Same voice in videos, same hands holding the camera, even the same old watch I gave him when I was 12. He's following a girl on there. A little girl. I know how insane this sounds. I've only been watching it for a couple of months, and I told myself it wasn't what I thought. Maybe it was a friend's kid. Maybe it was a charity thing. But on the morning after my birthday, Dave Thomas posted a story. It was a video of him helping this little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, blow out candles on a cake. Her birthday was the same day as mine. The caption read, "Happy birthday to my little princess. Daddy loves you more than anything." I watched it over and over. I must have gone numb because I didn't cry, didn't move, didn't breathe for a full minute. Then something else hit me. He was there with her, in person, laughing, smiling, holding her like a proud father. He hadn't been home in 3 months, hadn't visited me since last Christmas, but he was there for her birthday, not mine. I stared at the screen, trying to convince myself I was wrong. Maybe it was an old video. Maybe he posted it late. No. The balloons behind them had the number 8 on them, and the cake had today's date in frosting. She was turning 8, which means she was born when I was 11. And that means he had a kid behind our backs. Or maybe we were the ones kept in the dark. Because the more I looked, the more this fake account looked like a real life. Not his work account, not a fling, something else, something worse. After a night of barely sleeping and way too much overthinking, I woke up with this tight, cold feeling in my chest, like dread had taken physical form and decided to live in my ribcage. I didn't want to check my phone again, but I couldn't help myself. No new messages from my dad, no missed calls, nothing. But Dave Thomas had posted again. This time, it was a regular post, not just a story. A photo of him, the little girl, and her. A woman I didn't recognize, holding his hand like it was nothing, like she'd done it 100 times, like she belonged there. They were at a lake, smiling at the camera. The caption read, "Grateful for these 2 girls who make my life whole." Whole. I can't explain what that word did to me. I just sat there staring at the screen, heart pounding so loud I could barely think. I zoomed in on the woman trying to find something familiar, anything that would explain who she was or how she fit into all this. She looked maybe mid-30s, pretty but in a quiet, natural way. Soft smile, jeans and a hoodie, no makeup. The kind of person you wouldn't think twice about if you passed her in the grocery store. And that made it worse, because she didn't look like someone who wrecked a family. She looked normal, safe, comfortable. I scrolled through the comments. Only a few. She wasn't tagged, and neither was the girl. But the comments that were there sent shivers down my spine. Cutest little family ever. Look at you 3. Beautiful. I can't wait to see you guys again. Miss you. So it wasn't a secret life. It was a separate one. They weren't hiding. They were just living, without us. And maybe that was the point. I clicked on every person who commented, looking for more clues. One account belonged to some woman in North Carolina. Another was someone who worked at a ski lodge in Colorado. Random, scattered connections. No mutuals. No links to my world, except for one comment that made me freeze. It was from an account with no profile picture. The name was just a string of letters and numbers. But the comment said, "Hope the other daughter doesn't find this." No likes, No replies. Just sitting there, almost invisible. I stared at it for a long time. Then I checked the timestamp. It had been posted 4 minutes ago and deleted before I could even take a screenshot. I refreshed the page like 10 times, trying to bring it back. But it was gone. What the hell was that? Someone knew. Someone else knew I existed. And they were watching, too. I couldn't stop staring at that blank comment section. It felt like someone had reached through my phone and tapped me on the shoulder, then slipped away before I could see their face. Whoever it was, they knew I existed. They knew about both of us. The next morning, my mom left early for work. I stayed behind, pacing my room, phone in hand. I wanted to call her, confront her, demand answers. But what would I even say? Hey, Mom, did you know Dad has a whole other family? That would sound insane without proof. Instead, I went looking for it. Our house is old, creaky floorboards, weird corners, an attic that's more like a crawl space. My mom hates going up there, but my dad used to keep boxes of work stuff tucked away in the back. Old files, papers, random things he said he didn't want to lose. For the first time in years, I pulled down the attic ladder and climbed up. Dust everywhere, boxes stacked like uneven towers. I dug through them for almost an hour. Old tax documents, a box of my childhood drawings, some of his college notebooks. Nothing unusual. Then I found a locked file box shoved behind a pile of Christmas decorations. It wasn't dusty. It had been moved recently. The lock was one of those cheap combination dials you can open if you're patient. I wasn't patient, but I was desperate. After about 20 minutes of guessing combinations, I tried our old address number, and it clicked open. Inside were neatly stacked envelopes, all with the same return address. A P.O. box in Asheville, North Carolina. I ripped one open. It was a birthday card. Not for me. Happy 7th birthday, Emily. Daddy loves you so much. I'm sorry I can't be there this time. I opened another. Emily, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on your first day of kindergarten. Another. Emily, you and your mom are my everything. Every single card was signed with my dad's name. Some had photos tucked inside, pictures of the little girl at different ages, growing up year by year. She wasn't just a secret. She was his daughter. But there was something even stranger. In the very back of the box was an envelope with my name on it, my full name, written in my dad's handwriting. No stamp. Just sitting there, waiting. Hands shaking, I opened it. It wasn't a card. It was a letter. Short. Just a few lines. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. I never wanted this to touch you. I'll explain everything soon. Please don't hate me. No date. No signature at the bottom. I just sat there on the attic floor, clutching the letter, surrounded by dust and old boxes, my heart pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. Because whatever this was, my dad knew I'd find it. He'd planned for it. And suddenly, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be afraid for him or of him. After reading that letter, I sat in the attic for what felt like an hour, just staring into nothing. My fingers were numb, my brain locked in this endless loop of what the hell is happening. That letter wasn't just an apology, it was a warning, and something about the way he wrote it, like he knew exactly when I'd find it, made my skin crawl. I stuffed the letters and the photos back into the lockbox and shoved it deep into my closet, under a pile of old clothes. I wasn't ready to tell my mom yet. I didn't even know what to tell her. She still hadn't come from work. I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, no caller. I never answer those, but this time I did. There was a long silence. I thought maybe it was a robocall, but then a voice said my name, my real name. Not how my friends say it, not how my professors say it, the way he says it, my dad. But it wasn't him. It was a woman. I didn't say anything. Neither did she. 5 seconds. And then in this soft, careful voice, she said, "Please don't hang up. I don't know how else to do this." Still, I said nothing. My heart was racing. She took a breath. "My name is Angela. I know this is going to sound insane, but I think we're connected. Through your father." I didn't hang up. I wanted to, but something told me not to. Then she said it. "I'm Emily's mom." That was the moment I realized I hadn't imagined any of this. She existed. The little girl existed. This wasn't some bizarre online scam or identity mix-up. I whispered, "How did you get my number?" She hesitated. Then, "He left it in his glove box." I wasn't snooping. Honestly, I wasn't. "I just found a note with your name and your college written on it. I think he was going to come see you." I didn't know what to say. She said, "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I didn't even know about you until a few months ago." She sounded genuine, nervous, like someone holding a secret too long. "I thought I was the only one," she said. "He told me he was divorced. He told me he had nothing left in his old life." I asked, "How long were you together?" The silence that followed told me everything. "Since 2013, she finally said. 12 years. I was in 7th grade. Angela's voice was calm, too calm, like someone who'd already cried all her tears and was now just empty. 12 years. She'd been with my dad for 12 years. I sat frozen on my bed while she told me things that made me feel like I was listening to the plot of some psychological thriller, not my actual life. According to her, she and my dad, her Dave, had met at a corporate networking event. He said he was recently divorced, living part-time in Asheville, and running some consulting business that required constant travel. Said he had no kids, just aging parents in Florida who he barely spoke to. Angela said she believed him because, why wouldn't she? He was charming, polite, clean-cut. Everything seemed to check out, and for the first few years he was on the road a lot. He'd be gone for a week or two at a time, sometimes more, but always came back with gifts, stories, and pictures of the cities he'd visited. Fake cities, I guess. Or maybe he'd just visited us. Angela didn't start questioning things until Emily was born. That's when he began spending more time in Asheville, more time at home, and eventually moved in full-time. That was 3 years ago. I don't even remember seeing my dad that year. He missed my high school graduation, sent a card and some money, said work had him stuck overseas. I believed him, because why wouldn't I? He'd missed other big moments, but always had a reason. It didn't even occur to me he might be celebrating a birth instead of a graduation. Angela continued talking. I barely said a word. She told me how last year, Dave, she never called him by his real name, which made me sick, started acting strange, paranoid, tense, kept changing his phone password, hiding his laptop. Then came the birthdays. Angela and Emily celebrated their birthdays in October, but when she went to plan his, he told her it was in July, which was weird because I knew his birthday was in March. I'd celebrated it my whole life. Angela said she brushed it off at first, figured maybe she'd remembered wrong, until she found 2 different sets of ID in his desk drawer. One said David Allen Thomas, born July 1st. The other said his real name, my dad, March 10th. She asked him about it, and he lost it. He yelled, said it was a mistake from a failed business venture, threatened to leave if she ever brought it up. That night, he packed a bag and disappeared for 4 days. No calls, no texts. When he came back, he said it was work stuff. She didn't believe him, but let it go, for Emily's sake. But that was the moment she started digging. She said it didn't take much to find me. She found a Facebook page with old photos. My mom, me at age 6 sitting on his shoulders. A comment from his real sister. Angela said she couldn't sleep for 2 nights after that. Then, a few weeks later, he left a handwritten note in the glove box with my name, college, and phone number. Angela said that's when she realized something else. He was planning to tell me, or warn me, or maybe threaten me. She didn't know. But the part that truly broke me was what she said next. He's not here right now. He left again, took the car, said he had to tie up loose ends. But something felt different this time. I don't think he's coming back. I asked her when he left. She said 2 days ago, the day before my birthday. After I hung up with Angela, my whole world felt off-kilter. It was like suddenly realizing the ground under your house isn't solid. It's just a thin crust over a sinkhole. I sat there in my room, staring at my phone, trying to piece together the timeline. Dad leaves on business trips for years. He misses birthdays, graduations. He builds a second life. He leaves a letter for me to find, and then, 2 days before my birthday, he disappears. Where was he now? And why did I feel like I was next on some invisible list? I hadn't told my mom any of this yet. She got home late, tired, asking how my day was, and I just mumbled something about school. I couldn't dump a decade of secrets on her at 10 p.m., but I also couldn't keep pretending nothing was wrong. So, at 11:30 that night, I snuck out. There's a gas station about 2 miles from our house. Dad always stopped there before his trips, to fill up, grab snacks, whatever. It's the only 24-hour place in town. For some reason, my gut told me to go there. When I pulled in, the place was almost empty. Just one car at the far pump. A silver SUV. His SUV. I knew it instantly. The dent in the back bumper. The sticker from a ski resort we'd gone to when I was 10. I parked on the far side of the lot and stayed in my car, heart hammering. Through the window, I could see him inside the gas station. He wasn't buying snacks. He was at the payphone. Who even uses payphones anymore? He had his back to me, phone pressed to his ear, one hand rubbing his forehead. He looked older than I remembered, thinner, like the secrets were eating him alive. Then he turned slightly, enough for me to see his face. He wasn't crying, but his eyes were red. His jaw clenched like he was trying not to shake. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I saw his lips form one word, clear as day. Run. I thought maybe I imagined it, but then he repeated it. Run. Then he slammed the phone down, grabbed a plastic bag from the counter, and walked out. I ducked low in my seat, trying not to be seen. He didn't look around. He just got in the SUV and drove off. Not toward Asheville, not toward our house, toward the highway. I sat there for a full minute before my phone buzzed. Unknown number, no caller ID. I answered, nothing but static for a few seconds. Then a voice, my dad's voice, whispered, "Don't go home tonight," and the line went dead. I didn't go home. I couldn't. Not after that phone call. I didn't even think. I just threw my car into gear and drove, anywhere but back there. I ended up at a 24-hour diner on the edge of town. I ordered coffee I didn't drink and stared at the wall until the sun started coming. I didn't sleep. My brain was spinning too fast. What did he mean? Don't go home? Was someone watching me? Was someone watching us? At around 6:30 a.m., I finally texted my mom, just something vague. I'm at a friend's, stayed up studying. Don't worry. She replied with a thumbs up emoji. No questions, no suspicion. Business as usual, like we weren't all standing on the edge of some invisible cliff. I stayed at the diner until my legs stopped, then drove to camp. Skipped my first class, but sat in the parking lot, trying to make sense of the pieces. That's when I remembered something. A few years ago, when my dad upgraded his laptop, he gave me his old one. I hadn't used it much since I got my own, but I still had it, shoved under my bed back home. And if I remembered right, he never cleared the hard drive. I made the decision without even thinking. I had to go back home. When I got there, my mom had already left for work. House was empty, quiet, too quiet. I went straight to my room and pulled the laptop from under my bed, plugged it in, waited for it to boot up. The password screen popped up. I took a breath and typed in the first thing that came to mind, Emily07. It unlocked. I don't even know how I... Angry? Sick? Vindicated? I started digging. Most of the files were boring. Old receipts, tax forms, project proposals. But then I found a folder on the desktop labeled Trip Log, and inside it, spreadsheets, organized by date, cities, miles driven, gas stops, time spent away from home, labeled meticulously, except there were 2 columns for home. One said A1, the other A2, alternate homes. One of them was ours. I opened a log from last year. June 12th, June 24th, A2 visit, Emily, dance recital, Angela, clinic follow-up. Then this note, stopped by A1 en route, didn't see her, mail still stacked, no sign of activity. Her, me, he was checking on us, like we were a side quest. I wanted to scream, kept digging, and that's when I found something worse. A subfolder, encrypted, password, name, insurance, final docs. I tried every password I could think of, nothing worked. Then I tried my birthday. It opened. Inside was a single document, a PDF titled, Life Insurance, Contingency Clause, Revoked Beneficiary Status, my name, my mom's name, crossed out, and underneath it, Angela, Emily, beneficiary, effective date? 3 weeks ago. I sat frozen in front of the laptop, my pulse loud in my ears. My dad had taken our names off the policy, added them, and done it only 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago was also when he called me out of the blue, acting weirdly sentimental for the first time in years. He'd asked about my classes, told me he was proud of me, said he'd always make sure I'm taken care of. It wasn't a goodbye, it was a prelude. I shoved the laptop shut, grabbed my bag and got out of the house. It felt like the walls were watching me. My car was parked in the driveway. I unlocked it, slid in, and locked the doors immediately. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key into the ignition. That's when I noticed something. A plain, white envelope under my windshield. No stamp, no name. I grabbed it, tore it open. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded once. It just said, "You are not safe there. Get out, before tonight." D. My dad's handwriting. I started the car and drove without thinking, without even looking back at the house. I ended up at the public library, the only place that felt neutral. I parked out front, walked inside, and sat down at a computer. I pulled up my fake Instagram account again and went straight to Dave Thomas. The account was gone, deleted. Then a DM popped up in my inbox from a burner account with no profile picture. They're going to say I'm crazy. Don't believe them. Trust the folder. Don't go home tonight. Before I could reply, the message disappeared. I sat there staring at the empty screen, trying not to panic. Then my phone buzzed. Mom. She never calls during the day. I answered, trying to sound normal. She was whispering, like she didn't want someone to hear. "Where are you?" I said I was at the library. Her voice cracked. "Stay there. Don't come back to the house." I asked what was going on. She didn't answer. Just said, "Please, honey, just listen. Stay there. Someone's looking for..." And the line went dead. I sat in that library for almost 2 hours, barely moving, just watching the door. My mom's words echoed in my head. Someone's looking for you. Not be careful. Not come home. Not we need to talk. Just don't come back. I tried calling her, straight to voicemail. I tried texting. Nothing. I was about to get in my car and drive to the police station, or maybe a friend's house, when my phone rang again. Blocked number. Again. I answered, and this time it wasn't static. It was a voice I didn't recognize. Male. Calm. Cold. He said, "You have something that doesn't belong to you." Then a pause. Then he said my full name. First, middle, last. I didn't respond. I just ended the call and turned off my phone. It didn't matter if I was scared. I wasn't going to sit and wait for something to happen. If I was going down, I wanted answers first. So I made a choice. I didn't go home. I went to Angela's house. She answered the door like she'd been expecting me. Her face went pale when she saw me. but she stepped aside and let me in. I didn't even sit. I just held up my phone. I know about the policy. I know about the 2 lives. I know about the logs. But I need to know who's chasing me. Angela took a long breath. Then she walked over to a cabinet near her kitchen and pulled out a thin manila envelope. She handed it to me. Inside were photocopies of old documents, emails, legal letters, a restraining order, not from my dad, against him. It turns out my dad had been part of a whistleblower lawsuit 10 years ago. He'd exposed a financial fraud ring at one of his former companies, and after that, he changed his name, disappeared, and started a new life with us. Then, when things started to resurface, when old names started showing up on his call log, he did it again. He made another life, with Angela, with Emily. Each time he felt threatened, he ran. The problem was, you can only run so many times before someone catches your scent. Angela told me that last month, a man showed up asking about Dave. Said he was from an old job. Said Dave owed people money. She didn't believe him at first, until Emily's school was broken into, and nothing was taken except a USB from her dad's briefcase. Angela confronted him. That was when he finally told her the truth. He was never running from us. He was running to keep us alive. He didn't remove my mom and me from the insurance because he stopped loving us. He did it to protect us, to hide us, to make it look like we weren't part of his life anymore, so that if something happened, we wouldn't be targets. I asked her where he was. She looked me in the eye and said, I think he knew they'd catch up eventually. He just didn't want them to catch you. Then she handed me a flash drive. He said if anything happened to him, you'd know what to do with this. I haven't opened it yet. Part of me is scared of what's on it. Names, faces, things I can't unlearn. I don't know if he's alive right now or if he ever made it out of town. But I know one thing. He was trying to fix something he broke years ago, and maybe he didn't succeed. But now, I've got the whole story, and I'm not running.